what up? It's your boy Tatum. Special guest in the building right now, Sal Dali. What's good, man?
What's good, brother? How you?
I'm good. I'm good. Man, so I'm looking through your resume, bro. You got some crazy stuff under your belt, man. Portfolio game is wild.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. I feel like I still got a whole lot more work to do, but I've been fortunate to learn a lot from a lot of legends in the game, so I feel obligated to do a lot more, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Now, for the people who aren't familiar, you are a producer.
Yes, sir.
Been doing it for, you said, like about 10, not 10 decades, but about like 10 years?
Yeah, about 13 maybe, 13, 14 years.
Yeah, I'm that OG status.
Yeah. Young OG, you know what I'm saying? Still look young, still out here with the youngest.
How has producing changed since the time you started? You think it's easier now, like up and coming producers have it a little easier, or you think it was?
Yeah, just the technology has come so far. Like, I mean, honestly, when I first started making beats, like Fruity Loops just came out. So it was like Fruity Loops 3, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then, but I didn't really know what I was doing at all. Like, it was just something I was doing just to kill time between classes. And I met my boy Mysterious Productions. He one of the dopest producers ever from Cincinnati, but he was like straight all analog, all hardware, and I learned how to use MPC and all that stuff from him. And then I took those elements and like used that with Fruity Loops, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But back then it was a lot, they weren't really taking beats made on Fruity Loops seriously, like in the industry at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And then as far as the hardware goes, there was just so much stuff you had to do as far as how you had to save the tracks. Now you could just hit Control S, you know what I mean, or whatever, Apple S, and you good, but
technology for you.
Yeah, back then you had to record all your tracks from the MPC into Pro Tools, one at a time if you didn't have like multiple outs, and line them up. It was just a lot of headaches, but it's so much easier now.
And describe that time when you got your, I don't say big break, it sounds cliche, but that moment when like you really got on for one of your beats.
I don't know, I feel like I had like multiple times where I thought this was my big break, you know what I'm saying? And it probably really wasn't, but it was just always it's always gonna be something because you're always trying to push forward to the next level. So it's been so many times where I thought like, this is it. And it probably was a good situation and I learned a lot from it, but it was just like, all right, like, what's next, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
but I feel like the biggest, I don't know, like my first one was like when I was working with High Tech probably, you know what I mean? Because just growing up in Cincinnati, he was like my hero. Even before I was making beats, I was just like, wow, like he's from here, like this is possible. So when I was working for him, I used to engineer at Tech Lab in Covington, his studio. That was like the first time I was like, oh shit, like this is real, you know what I'm saying? But you know, just kept progressing from there. It's a snowball effect, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you say working with Diddy. What's it like working with Diddy?
That
though,
was like 3 or 4 plays after, you know what I mean? Like I said, the snowball effect, you know. Diddy, that was like straight fantasy world hip hop shit, you know what I mean? Like everything I thought it would be, like it's free Ciroc at the studio every day, it's a party every day, it's weed going around, it's
lit.
Any celebrity you could think of is just coming through just to chill. Like it was just like the fantasy world.
So working with him, did he reach out to you? Did he call you? Was it the email? How does that interaction come in place?
Well, when I moved to New York in 2012. I was working for Young Guru, Jay-Z's DJ, and I was just doing engineering work with him, just doing his dirty work. And through him, I ended up working with my boy. He's like a good friend of mine now, but LV. He's part of a production duo called Sean C and LV, and they have a long history with Bad Boy. You could Google them. They got a crazy resume, track record, but pretty much they kind of took me under the wing, and around probably 2 years into me rocking with them, Puff like called them like, yo, I'm trying to get the old gang back together, all the hitmen. I'm trying to do it with my last album. And then we pretty much just camped out in his studio called Daddy's House in Midtown Manhattan for like a year and a half. We just had unlimited studio time, and he was like living in LA at the time. But we were just working on beats and sending them back, and every time he was in town, he might just pop through the studio and see what we were doing. But I didn't really have too much one-on-one interaction with him in those times, but the studio closed down probably like, I think it was like February, like 2015. And I came home to Cincinnati for the weekend, like, all right, I got some downtime. And then LV called me on Saturday, like, yo, can you make it to LA on Monday? I'm like, hell yeah, like, what's good? He's like, oh, we about to work on the Puff album. So I'm thinking I'm gonna be out there for like a week or 2 weeks tops. So I end up being out there for 3 months. And like he got a condo for us, and we were just out there working. And then I came the next year after that for another 3 months to work on it, you know what I mean? So it was definitely one of the greatest experiences I ever had, you know what I mean?
Do you still get nervous and like starstruck or stuff like that? Like you in a room with like Forbes hip hop Cash King, man.
Nah, I used to. Like the first time he came around, I was nervous not to say anything stupid, you know what I mean? I was kind of shaky, but after a while, like, I mean, I was literally like almost around him every day for like 6 months. So, and then just like I said with him, like anybody would walk in the door, like. I remember one day we were just chilling in the lounge watching the playoffs, NBA playoffs were on, and I felt somebody standing behind me, and I turn around and it's just Kanye, like.
Wait, hold up. How you gonna mention Kanye standing behind you so casually like that watching the game?
I mean, that's just like Diddy world, you know what I mean? Like,
wow.
Anybody that come in, like Kendrick, Pharrell, he had Babyface there, like, for 2 days, like, just vocally producing records, and I was just. You know, when you're around people like that, you just gotta sit back and just shut the fuck up and just tune in, you know what I'm saying? Like, and just watch everything, you know what I mean?
Facts.
Definitely an experience I still carry with me to this day, because just the way that the Hitman work, or just the Diddy production, it's not like one dude he picks a beat for one dude and that's it. Like, he might like a beat you started on, but if he likes it, then he's gonna like hand it to Mario Winans to add some shit to it. He's gonna send it to this producer to add. Like, it's like a collaborative thing, you know what I'm saying? And it's like all the greatest musicians in the world are there, so it's like, why not? Like, please make my beat sound better, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, like, y'all gonna make me look good, you know, so let's go for it.
So like, when stuff like that happens, when you get artists to be like, you know, that you give them a beat and they're like, I don't like this shit, you know, do it over. Do you get offended like that, or is it just like, damn, like, this is my work, I thought this was good, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm so off of my own zone of vibe. Sometimes I really don't expect people to like my stuff a lot, you know? It sounds weird. Like, I make it for me first. I make the type of stuff I like to listen to, and if other people like it, then I'll be like, awesome, you know what I mean? So most of the time when people rock with me, they already kind of like have an idea of like what my sound is, or what, you know what I mean? But I don't really take it personal, because artists are artists. You have different moods every day. Like, it's not about if your beat is whack. It might not just be the mood they in that day, or what their direction is at the moment, or what they're currently being influenced by. But you know, dudes will come back to the same beat 3 months later and be like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!" You know what I mean? Like, y'all said this to you.
Beat I presented you with 3 months ago.
So yeah, and you gotta keep in mind too how many beats these people are listening to per day. You know what I mean? Your ears get tired.
People on Facebook.
Right.
Okay. So you mentioned you were hanging with Diddy like what 3 months, or overall like 6 months or so working on this album. Which album is this? Are you allowed to say?
Well, he put out Money Making Mitch, the MMM project, which was like supposed to be the prequel, like the warm up to No Way Out 2, which is supposed to be the final album. But I don't know what the status of that is. I know it's a lot of dope records just sitting on hard drives, and they might end up on somebody else's album, I don't know, but it's supposed to be a No Way Out too, so I don't know what the status is. He got a lot of other stuff going on, so we'll see what happens, but we still pushing and doing other things for them. You know, we can't wait on Puff.
That's true. You can't wait on Puff, man. So as far as Puff, what are some other like heavyweights you work with in the industry?
I've done Pusha T, AP Ferg. We was around Dave East early, like before anybody knew who he was. Ro James. The past year and a half, I've been doing stuff with Jeremiah. We're working on the Black Thought record right now too. Black Thought, so Chauncey and LV are overseeing that. So those are the big homies, so they threw me the oop on that. So working on Black Thought solo project.
So like when you're creating a sound, do you listen to an artist and create it off that, or do you just create your own music and just see if it fits with that particular artist?
Usually, like if I get called about a specific artist, like I'll just look through my folders and see what I have. It's like kind of like on their vibe, and then and then I'll put a photo together for the stuff I already made, and then I'll just like, everything I make it probably for the next week or two will be like, all right, I'm trying to keep this person in mind. But I still try and keep, I don't try and like duplicate whatever previous hits or records they already had. I just want to like finally find something that's within the tempo and the space that they can relate to, but the sound is still me. Like, I don't want to sound like whatever producers they already rock with.
Yeah. How important is it for producers and like up-and-coming producers and up-and-coming rappers to like link up together? I know how like, as when Future started, they kind of like, help build each other up. Now they affiliated with one another now.
Yeah, I feel like that's more important. Like I've gotten to see like and be around producers that have accomplished everything that I wanted to accomplish, and I see what comes after that. So it's like chasing placements with like whoever the established artists are is not really the move unless you get like the single, you know what I mean, and it's a hit. But like if you just got an album placement, it's gonna be like some decent money, and then it's gonna come and go. But if you like work with an artist from the genesis and break an artist, not only is it more beneficial financially, but just legacy wise, like you put yourself in the GOAT producer conversation when you like actually took an artist from nothing and y'all came up together. I'd rather be in a situation like 40 with Drake where I don't have to work with nobody but my man.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? And have to deal with all the bullshit of chasing these dudes around and being on their schedule and their preferences when I'm just building with my man. I'd much rather that be the situation, you know what I mean? It cuts out a lot of bullshit, money issues and all of that, you know what I mean? So that's where it's at. Like if you got an artist you vibe with and y'all got chemistry, then y'all should just lock in.
Sampling seems to be like the hottest thing now. Like we got like now like 2 songs, sampling Lauryn Hill that's hot.
Oh, right.
So like is that something that you try to like incorporate as much as you can, or like you try to leave it alone? Or?
Yeah, I'm a 90s hip hop baby, so sampling is like, that's the culture to me. Like to me, it ain't no classic record that don't have a sample on it. I don't care, like, you know what I mean? Even like if you go to Outkast, like Organized Noise, they say no samples, but it's samples in the records, it's just chopped and they put instrumentation over it. But all the classics got samples on it, and that's what hip hop was built off of, Like it started with a DJ just looping a part of a record at a party and motherfuckers going crazy. So that's what I love. I just love the way it sound. I feel like the laws and how they change just sample clearances and the laws and how you pay it out like that for a while. I feel like that weakened hip hop for like a certain period of time because labels were only trying to get like no sample stuff, but then you were like more so leaning towards a lot of like electronics, you know what I'm saying, sounding things, and then like hip hop lost the feel for a long time because the labels were trying to save money on sample clearances. But now it's just like, it's to the point where now these older artists are understanding like, shoot, like before they might have been bougie, like I'm not clearing this sample for these damn rappers, you know what I mean? But now it's like this is like the gift that keeps on giving. Like they making money off of records they did 30 years ago. Why not, And I feel like too, like you mentioned Lauryn Hill, she's from like she's a hip hop person. Yeah. And that record's like 20 years old now. Hip hop's not like as young as a genre as it is, but when you sampling records from hip hop people, they already understand the culture. They're more likely to clear a sample because that record was a sample from something else, you know what I'm saying? Like
South Wu-Tang,
yeah, so it's like if you sampling stuff from 20 years ago now, they're probably going to be more likely to clear the sample than before, like when people were trying to sample Prince or like these European rock bands that was not having it, didn't want no niggas rapping over their shit, you know what I'm saying? Like now it's different, people even if you look at like Kendrick Lamar, I think this is the first time in history this year at the Grammys where Bruno Mars was nominated for a Grammy, and Kendrick Loyalty was a Bruno Mars sample off the same album, and they were nominated for Grammys in the same year. You know what I'm saying? So people are like sampling newer stuff that just came out, and it's cool, like as long as you flipping it, you know what I mean? Because they flipped the fuck out of that sample. You like, you know what I mean?
Wow.
So
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, the Loyalty.
Yeah.
That was 24 Karat. They were both nominated the same year.
I'm mind blown, man.